we are back with another In That Number podcast. Just to start it off, Ben, how on earth did the two of us win that quiz on Friday? How?
Well,
I,
that is the big news in the rugby league world at the moment.
it is
It
two
is
Muppets who have a podcast beat tables of 8 to 12, maybe more people.
tables of people. All I think there was maybe one other team with three or four, and then they all had about 10 people, but we beat
Right,
them. So
right, and this is no disrespect to anyone. It was a laugh, and the main thing was raising money for Mia and Caitlin. So that's the main thing. Ashes game three. I mean, I'm glad to see the back of it now, Ben. I'm
yeah,
absolutely glad to see the back of it.
yeah. For my sins, I watched it. I watched. You know what? I didn't. I missed the game, and then, like an idiot, watched the full thing back,
Yeah, I've
even
seen
though I
the
knew
last. Yeah, I think it's in the last 15 minutes, and then I just watched highlights.
even though I knew the result. Oh well, go on, I'll watch the full 80 minutes. What was it actually like? So nothing new to talk about that didn't talk about in game one and two. It was kind of a mix of games one and two at
Yeah,
times. They were close for a lot of it, like game two, but they had a bit of a late game collapse, just like we saw in game one. And again, it was a similar story, a lot of possession, especially in the second half at times, forwards. Second game in a row, the meters made, the post contact meters, the quick play, the balls. Good, good possession, good work, good toughness. Nothing in attack again. Just couldn't
yeah,
break them down. It took again another off the cuff style play, a kick through and a chase to score, which was very nicely executed. But a try from a kick and one barge over right before the end of game
yeah,
one is the only two tries over 3 games. I don't think we've ever been in a lower position against Australia for decades, to be honest.
yeah. And I think we're quite lucky that this particular Australia team have not been firing that we know Australia can do.
Mm-hmm. Again, they weren't firing. They weren't. They looked a little bit more like they were getting there, as you'd expect. 3 games in, they were a little bit more cohesive, but and not for me on the level of past teams. And don't get me wrong, we've been we've been battered at times by past teams, but I can't remember struggling to score so much. The only other time is obviously the World Cup final, but then so did Australia in that game. That was only a one-try game, so
Yeah,
it was just that type of game. I can't remember a game with a lot of points between us and Australia that many times where we haven't at least scored two or three a game. Like to
yeah,
score two over three, that shows where the big weakness is at the moment. We don't have the halves or the backs at the moment to touch them.
yeah. And from this game, I mean, Michael Lewis had to be thrown at fullback because
Yeah.
AJ Brimson got injured. Now, I'm not going to have a pop at Sean Wayne for that. I mean, I could argue that his bench wasn't the best, but what else is he supposed to do in that situation? I mean, you can't exactly throw Walmsley at fullback, can you?
Yeah, he didn't have a good game, Mikey, but it's not his
Again,
position.
out of position. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not his
And I'm
position,
seeing, go
not
on.
his game, not what he's comfortable with. And to be honest, with the squad, probably not many other better options. So it probably was the right call to put
Yeah.
him there.
And I'm seeing online a lot of the finger of blame's being pointed at Michael Lewis, and none of it is his fault at all.
I
What
don't
what
think
what
don't
is
think
he
finger
supposed to do?
pointing. I don't think finger pointing works when your entire team really for most of the game is just outclassed. Don't think you don't need to point at any individual player.
Yeah.
It was lost as a team in that one.
I mean, if Sean Wayne thinks that he's the right man to lead England to the World Cup, I mean, I
It's a
think
tough
he's
one.
delusional.
It's a tough one. I don't blame him for saying that because I think if you're a coach and at a top level,
Yeah, you need to come off like you
you
need to
have
have
to
that
believe
confidence about
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But I saw. I think it was just really it was a dumb, stupid question asking him all the players because obviously if he's still the coach, no player is going to come out and go,
yeah,
yeah. And I think our head coach is shit. Get someone else because then if he stays, they're not going to get picked, are they? So it was a bit silly asking George Williams and Sean Wayne that question because they're obviously both going to say yes. But there needs to be a proper, obviously, review. They need to review everything: the planning, the team selection, the performances, the coaching staff, the choice of venues, everything, the engagements they did or didn't do, as we've moaned about with the media. Whole thing needs a full, thorough, review, in thousands upon thousands of words published on it, because it was a bit of a disaster from start to finish, on and off the field. The problem is this awful international setup we have in this sport. We've got a year to the World Cup, and at the moment there's no other games planned, and there's probably not time for any other games. So
no, especially not with the expansion of the Super League as well.
So is there a point putting a new coach in when his first time he's going to see the squad is maybe they'll have one game before the World Cup, probably. So he might have
maybe
one
if we
game
have
2 weeks before
coach,
the World Cup starts. I don't know.
Maybe if you have a coach who's based in Super League, who's seeing these players every week.
But what we need is we need to go back to a full-time coach, and we need to. And for all the criticism we got at the time, I think the best we've looked as an organisation is when McNamara was there, and it was a full-time job, and he lived and breathed it. And we had, you can argue the exiles, the games against France, about how competitive they were, if they mattered. We played more, and he was constantly reviewing and scouting. There was more training camps than there are now. There was at least a couple a season, or at least one a season in some years, where sometimes we go a full year without them getting together now. So we need to go back to that from an organisational standpoint. It needs to be a full-time job. Get the money from wherever you need to get it from. Stop being cheap on the job of an England coach being part-time. It shouldn't ever be part-time.
Like say if you got like a Challenge Cup final now, and I imagine half the squad's going to be in that game, but who aren't playing that week, get them together.
They need to at least have camps. If they don't have a lot of games, understand the logistics between having a lot of games is hard. They should at least be having 2 to 3 training camps a year, at least. And it should be a full-time job, this one. So go back to Sean Wayne. I don't know. I mean, obviously, based on what's happened, he should go. But because of what a new coach will be going into, I'm just struggling to understand. Is there much of a point? At least at this point now, the players have had 3 odd series underway now, and at least there's a rapport there. At least there's a more cohesion there in terms of relationships between staff and player. So, in a perfect world, I think he would be sacked tomorrow. He would have already been sacked, and then you'd have a guy come in with a training camp in pre-season, with a mid-season game and a training camp at like June, July, and then with 2 games, not 1, pre-World Cup with another training camp there. That would be in a perfect world. I really don't know if there's a point getting rid of him at this point. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
I see what you mean, but I think if he does go, he might get the fans will probably get a bit more on side if he's gone.
Sure, yeah. I mean, he has clearly failed as well. He's clearly failed overall. His 2 big things, and he said this when he got hired. Obviously, we thought the Ashes would have been a few years ago. It got delayed, COVID. But when he came in like 2019, beginning of 2020, he said, I'm here to win the World Cup and win the Ashes. Failed on both. By his own words, by his own standards that he holds himself to. We didn't even make the final of a home World Cup, which I think minimum for England should always be making the final if it's in England. So that was a huge failure. Decent series win against Samoa. But then this horrendous Ashes. So not all bad, but on performance, he just has to go. A 3-0, 2 tries over 3 games. The last big thing he did was a failure of not even getting to a final in a home World Cup. He's just got to go on performance. In a perfect world on performance, I don't know how you defend him staying, to be honest. I'm not sure.
I think you've just tried to. I think you've tried to, and is there any point, but it'll look better to us if is it the IRL? They get rid of him
if they exist. They seem like a Schrodinger's IRL.
It's an alias.
Yeah, you don't know. They only exist if you observe someone and they introduce themselves as a member of the IRL. Otherwise, you never hear about them. But that's another discussion for another time about the international setup. Some good things is that there's already talks about planning the next one, which is what we need. But
it's every 4 years, aren't they?
No, again, this bollocks. Sorry, but it needs to be more often.
Yeah,
World Cups.
We need to be playing these top sides more often.
The World Cup's every 4 years. What it should be is 1 year you have a test. You have, for me, I'd bring back also the Four Nations or a Tri
Yeah,
Nations,
yeah,
but
absolutely get that in.
I'd have 1 year, let's say Four Nations year one, then year two test series against someone like Tonga, Samoa, PNG are getting a lot better. Maybe them
Yeah,
at some point. Sorry, no, that's year three. Year two, you have the Ashes. Year three, you have a Test series. Year four, World Cup, and that
yeah.
should be your 4 year cycle, where you
Every year
always
should be
have
something competitive.
every year. Should be something. It should be a Test series. Bring back a competition that isn't the World Cup. Four, try five, however many nations, and then have the Ashes every 2 years in between. So every 2 years, we should have a World Cup or an Ashes.
Yeah,
That's what it should
I'll go
be.
with that.
And that, I mean, this every 4 years. It's like they get close sometimes to the penny dropping, but at least hopefully it won't be 20 odd years again. So
Yeah, at least we're saying it 4 years. It's a bit of progress, isn't it? It's better than bloody nothing.
yeah, it's better than 2 decades of just not of barely ever playing Australia.
Yeah,
So
no. I do want to highlight Morgan Knowles and Jez Litton because I think the two of them have been absolutely outstanding for England, but by a mile as well.
yeah, there was in the forwards. I thought a lot of them were good. Jeslin stand out. Um, he was, pretty good in game two as well. Um, someone that the Aussie, even some of the most one-sided Aussies, and I can't blame him for being too one-eyed really because it was dominant, but some of them refused to give any of our players any credit, despite how close they were games two and three for long periods. But Jez Litton is getting a lot of NRL attention, I've
Yeah,
noticed, from a lot of people over there. I would expect him probably to be over there in the next few years. I'd be very surprised if he isn't. Depends what he wants to do personally. Knowles, um, again, really good, tough, loose forward. Um, Passed the ball a little bit more as well, which was nice to see. I think he'll have to do a bit more of that over there in the NRL, and I think
yeah,
he'll become a better player because of it too. I thought Walmsley just, shut up a lot of people in this series, to be honest.
yeah. He needed
Once
that in his
again, you
for his
know,
mindset.
yeah, all right, the one defensive error in game one, which was more of a Wellesby error anyway. But again, games two and three, he set the platform for when he was on the pitch. His average gain is the highest out of any forward on the pitch for games two and three, and he had the highest post contact meters out of any England player, games two and three. So I'm quite happy on a personal level. I'm sure he'll have rather he would have rather he had a nightmare in England 1-3 nil. I'm sure, but
Yeah,
I think he can be proud from a personal point of view. Matty Lees was a lot better after a really bad game 1-2. Improved over the games as well. So in a way that's a positive, but it's a positive we have had before. Like we said, we've constantly had good packs, but we get battered because nothing else is there on the pitch,
yeah.
and we saw it again. Our
It's
forwards couldn't stand up to us.
we've always matched every nation in the pack. It's when it gets out to the three quarters
Yeah,
that's when it goes to pot.
yeah. We have a lot of big angry big blokes who will run through brick walls. That's a very simple part of the game, I think.
Yeah,
It's the harder stuff that we just don't have in our locker at the moment, and breaking down tough defenses. And Australia were very good defensively for a team that, in attack, fair enough, they didn't look very cohesive at times. But defense takes cohesion as well. You need to know exactly what the man to the left and your right of you is going to do in any given situation. You need to know your defensive drills. Do wingers shut down, running early to shut down centres on a play? Do you stay wide and do you spread left and right? That takes a lot of cohesion too, and the Aussies had it in defence.
yeah.
Like defensive cohesion, no one left a single gap like in that line. It doesn't matter what type of play we ran, and they didn't have to be telling each other what to do. They just instinctively knew what the
Yeah, it's
people
just
around
well
them were going
drilled.
to do, and really well drilled defensively. Um, so we just didn't have it in attack.
Yeah, I mean a prime example of that is game one, the cut-out pass from Wellesby meant for Dom Young. It weren't a great pass, but Dom's too far inside to do anything about it.
Still defending that pass.
Oh yeah, fucking hell. But it's just an example of them not being cohesive with each other.
Yeah, we didn't show much of it in attack or defense, really.
No.
Um,
On the line, we showed quite a bit of it because it was that gritty goal line defense. But
Mm.
like I say, it was the breaks that did us in the kicking game.
Usual story.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on from that because it's bugging me now. Jacob Douglas signs for 3 years from Wigan. What do you reckon of that?
What a shock.
And we never seen
I
this coming,
mean,
did
we've
we?
never seen this one coming. First reported by Matthew Shaw in February, I think. Um, so yeah, it's a good signing. I've only seen a little bit of him. I saw him a fair bit when he was in the academy at Wigan. Only seen a few. I mean, to be fair, he's only played a handful of times in the first team. I've seen most of those games, and yeah, electric pace. Looks elusive on his feet. Um, seems to thrive when a team throws the ball around quite a lot, and some of his highlights involve a lot of expansive play, which you get with Paul Rowley. So it seems like a sensible one, especially with Murphy being a question mark. One more year in his deal. Can he get over his injuries? Felt one more year in his deal. Will he want to? Will he want to stay? Will we want him to stay? So with two wingers potentially out the door after this season, I think it's.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Good future planning
With
from Saints. Like,
with Murphy, it depends if he can stay fit or not, doesn't it?
yeah,
Because I
yeah.
mean, it's not his fault. You know what I mean? Injuries are just bad luck, but seems
But
to be
this
made
is
of
the
glass, that lad.
type of thing we should have been doing when we were winning things in between 2018 and 2022.
Yeah.
This is the type of thing we should have been doing, planning for the future. Douglas is young still. He doesn't need to be first choice straight away. But if we lose a few players, we don't. Oh my god, we need to get a winger. We've got one.
Yeah.
So this is it's people saying, "Oh, we've got like five odd potential wingers now." That's what you should have. A team that plans properly for the future of its squad. That's fine with me. Cross is a backup. Cross is just a backup across the back line. Like I just said, Felt might be going and Murphy might be going after 1 year. So, this is the type of signing you need. It's absolutely the type of signing you need because within a year
Yep.
or two, he might be our then new first teamer. And we haven't had to rush in one off season to just get any winger who's available. So 3 years is a good length and it's a good signing. He looks quite promising.
I'm just trying to find it. Oh, there we go. There is apparently two more coming up from the NRL, and we have only used six of our quarter spots.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this is rumor, nothing official yet. Um, Mason Teague, if that's pronounced right, and Corey Allen.
I wouldn't mind either. I don't think either of them are signing, from what
Yeah,
I've heard. But
Marion Sevi was supposed to be, but he re-signed with Melbourne.
I think we'll have a centre and a prop coming in, but who they are, I'm not sure. But I think another
Yeah,
centre and another prop are definitely coming in.
we need another
And
centre definitely. I think we're all right for
yeah,
forwards, especially in the back row.
I'd still have another one. If we have one more forward, then that surely means Parsi just doesn't play next season then.
But
Which is
again, he's still
something
not been listed as a.
I'd be quite happy about. So I don't think you can have too much of a good thing if they're good players. Get them in any position. Um, Obviously, Saints like to really drip feed and drag these out, the
Yeah,
announcement wise.
I think half of them were
Um,
probably done in May.
yeah, they probably signed months ago. They've just not been leaked. But like Douglas, we all knew before the season started last season that he'd
Yeah,
signed, and we've waited until Christmas is almost upon us in like 40 odd days before announcing it. So I think it's already all been done. It's just to be announced, and I'm
yeah,
sure we'll get it, over the next 30 to 40 days, probably everything
right.
announced.
Do you reckon we should do what the NRL do, and from the 1st of November, when the last year activates in a contract, you can go and speak to whoever
Well, we do have
instead of doing it halfway through a season?
that now.
There's always that come in now, is it?
Yeah, that's why we signed Douglas last season.
So I thought it was like from, is it May? So it's
Yeah,
when Tommy Mason started speaking to Catalan money.
it's 12 months now. 12
Yeah,
months.
right.
So that's how Vaughan and Sambu were spoken
Yeah,
to by Wigan. It's how we spoke to Douglas. Um, which I'm not a big fan of that system, to be honest, because it's a whole year, a whole season, and you can have like what happened with Vaughan and Sambu, where before a ball was kicked, we all know they're going to our big rivals, and do you ever want to play
yeah.
them?
When it's the rivals, it's different. It was like we knew about Knowles very early on.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't let us down. He said what he was going to do. He wanted to go best possible, and he did what he could.
Yeah.
Well, tickly throat. The new training gear's out, and it's absolutely beautiful.
We're running out of things to talk about, aren't we?
We're
We've got the
definitely running out of things
training
to
gear.
talk about. I'm literally trying to wing it as I'm going
Oh,
along.
training gear. Yeah, it's nice and smart. It's probably the best we've had for some years.
Yeah,
I'm not as negative as other people are about O'Neill's and the stuff they've had over the last few years. I
we could
don't
have
think
had a
it's
lot worse.
I don't think it's been great, but I think it could have been a lot worse. And I think there's always been one or two things I've liked every year for the past few years. But overall, across the board,
Listen,
this is better.
other than this
This is
shirt,
better.
the stuff Stag brought out was garbage. Other than the actual replica shirts.
And today, about half an hour ago, the match day stuff released as
Yeah,
well. Match day
yeah, I
wear
saw that.
release, which is not as nice in my opinion. The match day stuff, but it's not much you
The
can do with.
jackets are nice. I like the jackets in that style.
Yeah, not much you can do when everything is just red. But the hoodies
Yeah,
are a nice black and red, which is a bit nicer. But believe it or not, yeah, the match day polo was just a red polo. Surprise! I bet the home shirt might be white. We might be have a red V on it as well.
well, the
Oh.
reason I'm wearing this shirt for this one is because this is the kind of shirt that everyone wants this year,
Mm-hmm.
based off the 96. And by looking at that, the season ticket came in. They're really, really pushing it.
Yeah. So apparently it's going to be December, beginning of December. It's going to be released. The actual kit. That's what
Yeah.
someone's told me that. They are leaving it a bit late this year. I thought you'd want as big a run up to Christmas for people as possible, but it
Well,
looks like
do you know
everyone's going to
what? I
be.
don't mind them taking the time if that's part of the designing
No, it's been done.
aspect of it.
Apparently, we've got them.
Oh no, you're right. 'Cause just the picture of the
Mhm.
truck delivering them
Yeah, we've
outside the
got them.
stadium.
So if we do wait to beginning of December, bit weird. I'm sure there must be some reason. Maybe it's I don't know, a deal with the last season's kit has to be sold to a certain week or
Yeah,
something before we can chuck them out and put the new ones in. I don't know, but that's apparently what it might be wrong, but I've heard beginning of December we'll finally get it.
yeah. Well, I reckon it might be the evening with Rowley and McManus because they've got Sailor and Vicky Whitfield turning up.
Mm,
They might just walk out with the kits for all we know.
I imagine so, most likely. Yeah, yeah.
Which I'm in the ballot for. So fingers crossed.
We'll be able to give him some in that number podcast questions.
Oh yeah, like what's going on with the match day experience? Are we going to sort that out or what?
Yeah, hopefully.
Anyway,
Fingers crossed. Anyway.
yeah. Um, some news I thought was a shock at first, but when I thought about it, not really. Sean Long leaving Oldham. We knew there's a fractured relationship there between him and the owners.
Yeah, it's something that's been like going on behind the scenes all last season. There
Yeah,
was like reports about certain arguments and stuff, and um, it looks like fortunately for Long, he's struggling to find anywhere really long term. Seems to be, not really sure what the reason is because we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. But once again, leaving a club after only a year or two, it'd be interesting to see where he ends up because
yeah.
he's clearly well rated as a coach because a lot of people are always wanting to sign him and get him back. Whether he's more suited to an assistant role, maybe I don't know, but we'll have to see what he does next.
Yeah, I've had a few people. Oh, I've seen a few people saying he's going up at Saints, but we've already got Cowell and Breeze there
Yeah,
still,
I can't see you.
so he won't. Don't think he'll come. Not this year anyway.
No, we'll have to see what
I'd like
happens.
to have him back. To be fair, won't mind having Longy back in the dressing room. That's a look of don't talk shit.
No, there's nothing else to add. Yeah, I agree.
No, fair enough. Did he catch Beyond the Whistle?
I did, yeah. Oh, awful. That was
Um,
shocking. Who greenlit that?
I
That
know,
was.
but I think Chris Kendall comes off quite well.
Do you?
Yeah, I think he's more honest than Liam Moore is.
Yeah. I complete. I think it was ridiculous. To be honest, I think the whole thing was ridiculous. you want to, and rightly they say this. We need refs not to be like, this big center of attention, this talking point, this like media narrative, this like, pinata to beat with a stick, by pundits and fans. Yet let's promote them in a documentary, and as if they're like reality TV stars. I just thought the idea of a documentary was a bit stupid in the first place. I'm not sure
Do you know
what positive
I
it
think
does.
the idea of it is good. I think the execution of it wasn't right.
I actually thought they came off pretty badly, most of the refs in it. And again, editing, and I've studied this at university and stuff. I'm well aware that editing is a powerful tool.
Oh
So it
yeah,
might not be the case because obviously, also obviously as a documentary as well, it's way too short and too quick to
yeah,
cover a
40 minutes.
covers a full season. It's 40 minutes. You don't
Yeah,
really get into the nitty gritty of anything. Like I don't think refs should be getting promoted like celebs with a documentary. But if you're going to do it, it probably needed to be a series, or it needed to be like a
it's a
feature
rare
length.
thing though, isn't it? It's not something we've seen before.
Should have been like a few episodes or a big 2-3 hour thing. I basically felt like you just didn't really get to learn. You got to learn very surface level stuff
Yeah,
about everything rather than really get into one aspect, which I think would have been more interesting. But again, I thought Liam Moore came off really bad, and again,
yeah,
I
he
know it
did.
could be
Yeah,
editing, but the way both him
it's
and
almost he comes across as like this is a bit of a rivalry between me and Kendall,
yeah, it
whereas
comes across
and
like
they're
they're
banging
not
on about
bothered.
working as a team.
And both him and Kendall, more, but again, it could be editing. But I thought Kendall did it too. Talking about like it's a like obviously I know obviously personally you're gonna want to ref a big game. I get that, but your main responsibility should be enforcing the rules correctly. And it seemed
Yeah,
like it was about getting the big spot. It's like you're not there to get a big spot as a ref. If you do, then that's acknowledgement of a job well done. You can be proud of it. I'm not saying you can't, but their mindset seems really weird to me. When
yeah,
the focus should be, no matter what game it is, whether it's the Challenge Cup first round on a field in Saddleworth or whether it's Old Trafford, I want to make sure I'm getting things right. Simple as that. But the
I
way it
think
was
you know what,
kind
the only
of
one that
like,
come off actually properly well was Bentham.
yeah, I thought, kind of a little bit. He was the least egregious of them, but God, Liam Moore seemed to really have. It was like he just cared about getting the. I want to be in a final. I just want to get picked for a final, and I want to beat Chris Kendall, and it's just really weird to me for me. And then the way they edit the weird like then contrasted that with it's all a big team thing, but it seemed like for all of them, it wasn't at all. And like even that bit as well, where you just see like Liam Moore completely like dismiss something Chris Kendall said as the video ref because he
Yeah,
wants to. I want to make a decision that's right, so I'll go against him. Like he seemed like he was being contrarian. Again, could be editing, but I don't. Yeah, I thought it was bizarre. Really, really bizarre documentary. The pacing, the story they were trying to tell wasn't really anything. And
yeah.
my
It's like
God,
you
the
sort of force yourself
egos.
to watch the whole thing, didn't you?
Yeah, the egos were very odd for some of the, and again, I know editing can make, you might have said loads of lovely things and great things as well, and they cut it out. But the way I didn't like what Bentham says, so something Bentham said really troubled me, where he said, we put loads of more focus onto these big games and, not getting involved. What?
Yeah, it should be just be like it should be the
Now
same every game.
you remember I
That's the
said,
definition of consistency.
yeah, for like spot on. First of all, no, you could be reffing under 12s or you could be reffing the grand final. To do your job properly, you apply the rules. So they basically admitted to me that there's different rules for finals, which I don't
Yeah,
agree with. They also admitted that they're going to enforce rules less in finals. What do I always say about Liam Moore in a big game?
yeah.
That's why.
Let's too much go.
So maybe I need to apologise to Liam because that seems to be what the RFL want the refs to do. They want
Yeah,
them to just not give things because it's a final. They want them to just not. It doesn't matter about being in. People don't want refs not to be in the spotlight. They want them to just get things right.
yeah,
Stop overthinking it. If they're in the spotlight because they made a great decision that was hard to see, I'd rather that than just not give it so
yeah.
no
You'll
one
applaud them
talks
for that.
about them. Like, it's not about that they've got it wrong. Like, for me, again, it could be editing, but the mentality from Bentham was worrying for me, where it was if it's a bigger game, we ref it differently and we focus on letting that game go and the big moments. No, it shouldn't be about big moments. It should be about 80 minutes. You're reffing for
Yeah.
80 minutes. You're not reffing for one big kick in the in goal in the 80th minute. No, you should be concentrating and reffing the same and applying the rules in every game, no matter the occasion, because that's why teams and fans get frustrated. Because one game to another, we're seeing the laws applied and interpreted differently. And for me, unless that was a sneaky editing job, they seem to admit that. So I thought actually saying that out loud, I thought was incredible.
Do you know what though?
And
They even contradict themselves because at one point it's early on as well. I think it's with the old derby where it starts. They say concussions are no different in a regular game to a final. I was like, but you're saying about different rules.
no different, no different. But we've seen a few occasions where it has been different in a
Yeah.
final.
I mean, do you know what? I get it. I mean, a referee's job, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You're not going to win as a referee because, you know, what you say for one team and then the other team goes, oh, why have we not got that? It's all, it's a twat of a job, basically, isn't it?
It is, but I just think organisationally, the way they're training them and mentoring them, if it's completely correct what that documentary portrayed, I think it's no wonder that so many of our referees are god awful, and I
Yeah.
don't really blame them. If that's the system they're going into, for me, it didn't give a great look of the referee system. I was a bit worried after I watched it, to be honest. And yeah, Liam Moore's a weird guy, really,
Yeah.
really
I
odd
mean,
person.
what bothers me as well with the referees, it's not even them. When, say we've had game, like, say we've had Liam Moore, like, in a derby game, we've been given nothing. It's been one of those games.
Mm.
Now, we've all been there in the stand. We've gone, oh, Liam Moore, you, or whatever. When people have taken time to calm down, get the phone out, start typing something, thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't put that. Bang. That's out of order, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not saying any abuse is fine. I just said
No,
I think the refs came off as idiots,
it's just the way they're trained.
and I think again, you didn't get a full picture of exactly how they're trained and the planning. So I'm not saying it's definitely like this, but for me, things Bentham was saying were a bit worrying for me, and the way they tend to approach big games compared to normal ones. Again, for me, don't agree with it at all.
Yeah,
I thought it was just weird as well, just a really weird
yeah.
documentary,
I mean,
just bizarre.
I get what Kendall was saying. Or was it Liam Moore was saying? You want Michael Lewis to decide the game, or you want Bevan French to decide the game, not the
Well,
ref. But
you know,
the
no,
referee
no,
should be deciding the game.
yeah. I think they've got this wrong. I don't know where they've got this from. I don't think this is true amongst most people. They want the refs to get the decisions right. It's very
Yeah,
simple. So if you decide the game because you disallow a try that should be disallowed, good. No one's going to go if it's obvious. If it's like a big clear knock on, imagine the video ref going, but that means I decide the game. No, we'll let him score the knock on try, so you decide it. What? And
yeah,
also, no matter what the ref gives, they're technically decided it because the ref gives or doesn't give everything in a game. The game doesn't exist without the ref.
yeah,
So saying that a ref decides, technically, if you want to be pedantic, a ref decides every game of rugby league
yeah. Because
because
they're in charge of the
they
game.
give it, they're in charge. I just couldn't believe I didn't hear more emphasis on just very simply getting it right and just being consistent. I think they're really overthinking things at the RFL. They're really overthinking it, and I understand why they're doing it, but they've got it wrong in my opinion. Just the way they're approaching the development of referees and how the game's reffed in this country. We saw it at the Ashes. Game one, it was a pathetic slow play of the ball,
Yeah,
and we didn't have a ref for the rest of the series, rightly, because theirs are a lot better than ours. God, yeah, they shouldn't ever do. If they want to do a documentary again, just do a proper, give it enough time. Because yeah, and don't interview Liam Moore again. That's all I'd say.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
I have a suggestion. You're gonna like this
you're not gonna have a referee on here, are you? Are you, guys?
potentially. No, do you know what though? I do want to just to be fair and professional, but you want to talk about coaching referees? I know the perfect bloke. I know his rugby union, Nigel Owens. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not stupid. He'll just
No.
show him the rules and go, right, I've got that, I've got that, I've got that. Let me watch these games. That's shite, that's shite. Like, that's okay. We can work on this. You, out the door, whatever. He'll
Yeah.
know what to do.
So now I know some stuff about the RFL. I'm not going to pretend to be a big, up to date, in the know person because I'm not of the modern day, but I know certain things, mainly about years ago, because I was a community referee for a little bit, and I had friends who stayed refs and went up the system. None of them made it to Super League. Well, actually, to be fair, a couple I've touched on Super League a couple times, but I heard things from them about the RFL, and it's stuff I can't actually say on record because we get
Yeah,
sued
don't get us in trouble. Don't
if
get
the
us
wrong
cancelled.
person picks it up. However, what I can say is that there's a lot of allegations about it being an old boys type of club in terms of it's who you know, not what
Yeah.
you know. Now, to be fair, Bentham did seem to give off the effect that that's no longer the case anymore, and he did seem to put emphasis on a performance. So that was positive. But for years, under different heads of refereeing, two different ones, which
No, I'm not
you'll
gonna name
know.
him. I know.
You can
I think I can know who you're thinking about.
you can Google the head of referees. That it's all
Yeah.
there. Since like the Super League was invented, the last couple, and I know this to an extent as well because I know there wasn't any proper pathway back in the day. Now it might be wrong now. There might be a proper pathway, but back in the day when I was refing, it wasn't. You have assessors that mark you, and then when you've done a certain amount of games at, let's say, under 15s, you go to open age, and then if you do a certain amount of games and an assessor comes, you get to do the conference. And it wasn't like that. It was basically who you know. So I knew referees that did a referee course, and because they were in a certain ref society and mates of certain people, they refed an adult open age game
With mad handshakes.
after having never refed an under sixes ever. They went straight into open age adult referee.
I think you've told me about this before.
Yeah. Now, St. Helens Referee Society, I'll give them a shout out because they always did things properly. They started you off your under sixes, sevens, eights. They did it in a proper way where they watched you, they coached you on certain things in training. However, I know other ref societies, so there wasn't uniformity across every ref society. It wasn't like you're the St. Helens branch, but there's big RFL rules on how you develop and coach. Nope. Every ref society does everything gung ho themselves, completely not aligned. So obviously, people are at different levels because there's not this uniformed way of developing community refs. And to get to the higher level, you just had to go to like RFL training sessions that they'd have like every quarter or something, I think, or maybe a couple of times a year, where any community ref could sign up and go along and just brown nose people high up at the
Yeah.
RFL. I'll say it outright. And now that was a long time ago. Now it might be completely different. And I'm sure, and I do know once you did get into that RFL, as in like the level they care about, which is like conference to League One, there is more of a development cycle there where you go up level by level. But everyone starts at the community game. Everyone starts on fields with teenagers and big blokes who just want to fight at open age level. Everyone starts there, and about 10 odd years ago, there was no uniformity. There was no training, like vision. There was no alignment between local ref societies. There was no guidance from the RFL. They just pretty much left you to it. So it's no wonder that, in my opinion, the standard of refereeing has just been horrendous for a long time. And I actually think when they were part-time, they were generally better because a lot of these refs could do other things as well. And I think we actually lost a lot of good referees when they forced them to go full-time. And I don't think they had a proper plan for going full-time in terms of a full development of a full-time official, of a part-time official to a full-time official. I just think, and again, this could now be completely different in 2025, and it might be great. And Bentham's changed everything round. I know there was a lot of allegations, and to be fair, these are public, quite a few of them, but I still, just to be safe, won't say who, of like bullying and a toxic culture amongst like high up people. So if you've got a system where, and I don't know, I'd never heard anything bad about Bentham, to be fair, but Bentham was one of those refs when a lot of those things were going on, where it was seen that senior referees were treating ones lower down pretty badly, and other ones at their level saying some pretty nasty things about them behind the backs.
Like
And then
grazing the apprentices, basically, but
and then
in a bad way.
they then go up to be the head. for me, it should be like you said. I mean, you give a good example of Nigel Owens. It should be an external thing for me.
Yeah,
Like maybe after a certain amount of time, you could promote an internal one. You don't want to block off someone from going all the way to the top. But like in a few years, what if Liam Moore wants to do that or Kendall? And so he's now in charge of people that he was like, I don't know, colleagues with and trained with. And if that's not necessarily a bad thing, people get promoted from teams all the time. But if the culture isn't right in terms of training and development, and also how you treat people, he'll just carry that on naturally. It'll be a
yeah,
cycle. So maybe it needs a bit of a break where just for the next appointment, whenever Bentham leaves, get someone else in who doesn't know anyone, doesn't have mates there, doesn't have different fingers in different pies and different allegiances to clubs and areas and different RFL board members and all this messy stuff
well,
that
look at NRL.
can make a job hard.
Who's the coach for the referees in NRL? An ex-player, David Farley.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what you need over here.
Yeah, and obviously, and Daniel Anderson did that
Mm.
job for a long, long time as well. A coach,
There you
people
go.
actually involved in the game.
That's where we're going wrong.
Yeah, I do think we need a bit of a break from this cycle. I don't think, like I said, Bentham seems a lot nicer than his predecessor, and he does seem like he is more performance based, and things do seem a bit more fair. I do think, though, that they're still, I just don't think they're very good. And it's not from a salty fan perspective, because several times I've admitted when we've had the benefit of the doubt and a referee's been
Oh
poor and
yeah,
it's benefited us. I've also actually, and people who wind me up about this like to forget, I've plenty of times praised a referee when I think they've actually been good. I'm just honest. It's all I'll be. And I do think the standard compared to the NRL is painfully lower. And I think below Kendall and Moore, who I do think are the best two, despite the problems they have with their approach. I think that's more of a, like we just said, a training thing. Man, I think that the gap in refereeing quality drops massively below them. And it's no fault of those guys. I'm sure they're working really hard with what they get given and the development tools and the coaching, the mentoring they get given. But I think there's obviously something structurally wrong, because the amount of times we change rules, change interpretations of rules, fiddle with things halfway through a season every year.
yeah.
We're just not getting
Yeah,
it right. We're obviously not getting it right. We're not getting it right. So, you know what? Yeah, bring someone external in who has experience of refereeing, but not in rugby league,
yeah,
whether that's rugby union, football, somewhere else.
yeah. It don't even have to be the game aspect. It just needs to be like the organisation
Well, actually,
itself.
no, saying that, maybe not the Premier League, because
No, yeah,
God,
because they're all
God,
bloody corrupt anyway.
God forbid. But you know what I mean? Like someone, an outside pair of
PGMOL just
eyes,
needs to disband.
no allegiances, no former mates anywhere, no kind of holding on to an old system because that's how they developed. So they think, well, it worked for me, it'll work for everybody else. I think we need a complete clean sweep at the top and get some external people in, I would say.
Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, on to something better. So at the time of recording, this is Thursday. Sunday is the Bryn Agree's memorial game, raising money
Woohoo.
for Rugby League Cares. I've banged on about this for the last 2 weeks because I want it to be a special day, especially for Bryn's mum. Um, I've put a post out there with the squad list and a lot of big name players who are turning out for Bryn, so that's going to be good. The Steve Prescott Foundation versus Mickey High Fund at Ruskin Drive on the 7th of December. We'll be there. We'll have a stall set up 'cause that's all boxed off now.
Mm.
Um, we're doing some sort of sponsorship. There's been players named in the last couple of weeks or in the last week or so. So far, we have Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook, Stefan Ratchford, Benny Westwood, that fellow who owns Lee, Mike Bennett, Gaz Langley, Chris Hill. This is the big one for me, Chris Joint, and he's playing on Sunday as well. And the recent one today is Kevin Penny. And the ref is our favourite Liam Moore, who I will try to have a chat with, by the way.
Yeah, we'll see. We do have a stall this weekend as well, don't we? Just to let people know.
Yeah, so what we're doing is we're going to get footage of the game. Um, we'll be set up inside, probably in the clubhouse, I imagine.
Yeah.
We'll be speaking to the players on the thoughts about with Bryn. And what I've noticed as well, because we've been very fortunate. Thanks and big thank you to Liam Fox for sorting this out. We've been very fortunate in having James Graham and Paul Wellens within a week of each other on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And when I've asked both of them about Bryn Hargreaves, immediately start smiling, which tells me a lot about the bloke.
Mm-hmm. And
I mean, we only seen
if
him
you
on the
haven't,
pitch, you know what I mean?
if you haven't listened or watched them guys, do that before Sunday as well.
Yeah.
Both really good episodes. James Graham and Paul Wellens on the Spotify. And are those ones coming to
We
YouTube as well,
we
guys?
now have that's what I was going to next. We now have a YouTube channel.
Yep.
Now I don't know whether to put every podcast on there or not. I think I might do. So I can use the same template and all that. So it's just a case of uploading twice.
Yep.
Um, how do we name these now going forward? Because obviously this would be episode 57, I think, or 58.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll just put them as in that number podcast, and then you'll look at dates and see when they are. But everything else is going to be on Spotify as well. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And it's Wigan St Pat's this
Wigan St.
Sunday.
Pat's. Yeah, there's a ticket link in our Instagram bio where you can buy tickets, and imagine there'll be like the ways of raising,
Mm.
donating on the day as well. I say
Yeah,
all donations go to rugby
I
league
think
cause.
you can pay on the door as well, can't you? I think.
I imagine so. I'll double check and I'll keep everyone updated on that.
Yeah.
And we had a nice little message from James Roby that I posted today, not to me personally, but this to Liam. He can't make it, but he's encouraging people to get down there. So when you've had, and also it was mentioned on the buy round
Yes, it
with
was as well.
John Wilkin.
Mm-hmm.
So it's picked up a lot of steam. Obviously, they're both him and John are both teammates of Bryn. And again, it just shows how well liked and respected the man was.
Yeah, and it should be a really good occasion.
Yeah,
A good laugh. So get yourself down if you can.
yeah. And I think that about wraps it up. Ben, it's a short one this week, but it's been a slow news week.
I think we've almost done an hour, to be fair. That's it.
Well, yeah, probably about what 50 minutes we've done there. I'll take that.
Yeah, we'll take that one.
Yep. So we'll be there Sunday, getting as much footage as we can. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try and put it into like a production if I can, like footage of the games, the players speaking and all that. Put it up
Mm-hmm.
as one big video on YouTube.
So look forward to that.
Yep. So yeah, we'll be there Sunday, and we'll hopefully we'll see some of you down there, and we'll be back next week as well. So see you later.